Meat City, baby.
Hello and welcome back to Meat City Gaming. JD here with a full playthrough of the Banner Saga 2. And if you are familiar with my channel, you may have seen that I did a full playthrough of the Banner Saga. Obviously, the Banner Saga 2 is a sequel of that game, and it's a direct sequel. It picks up right where the first Banner Saga left off. And so if you want to know about this game, how it works, the mechanics, kind of my overall impressions of it, I would encourage you to go and check out the first video, at least, of that previous series on the Banner Saga playthrough. And I give a lot of that information, and a lot of it still holds true in the sequel. They are very similar games in terms of mechanics and approach and all of that kind of stuff. I will give a brief overview again, so you don't have to go back to that first series to get the impressions from that game. But the main reason, the main goal, what we're trying to accomplish here with this playthrough, so it is a hard difficulty playthrough, and that will enable us to get 2 achievements that require this difficulty, but we'll actually get a third. These are all probably the trickiest achievements in the Banner Saga 2, and we can knock them all out with one playthrough, and we'll do so in the playthrough that you guys are going to see. So the way I do this is I'll break each video up into segments. I will try to do it by chapters, but sometimes they run a little bit long, so I may need to break a longer chapter up into 2 different videos, just so the runtime isn't like an hour or 2 hours for a single video. And what I'll also do is speed up uninteresting parts of the gameplay. For each episode, I'll have a brief intro where I have some voice over for, you know, kind of giving the lay of the land, the big tips. Hey, what are we doing in this video? What's the main goal? What are we looking out for? And then I'll cut out and let the rest of the video play through without any additional commentary. And for certain parts, I will have the video at an accelerated playback, right? The combat in this game is turn-based, and it's very, I want to say, like, it's static, right? It's just, is your number higher than the other number? If you have 11 attack and you're hitting somebody with 10 armor, you have 1 more attack. So you will always hit, and you will always do 1 damage to their health because you're over their value by 1, right? It's just, does the number equal the other number? Is it bigger by how much? That's how much damage you're going to do. There's no guesswork. There's very, very little RNG. It is just sound tactical strategy. And so I don't think you need to see that, because I'll sit there and when I'm playing it in real time, I have to think and puzzle and plan ahead, and that's not going to do any benefit for the video. Also, if one of my moves plays out differently than yours, you're not going to be able to duplicate my strategy. If you upgrade one character differently, so they have a different ability. Again, so I think the combat is certainly a place where we'll have some accelerated gameplay. So that's the lay of the land. What is the Banner Saga 2? Well, as I said, it is a turn-based, I guess, RPG, you would say. And it has 2 kind of big facets to the game. So what you have is you're constantly traveling, right? You have a party of people, and it's got its heroes, and then it's got like the extra people in the caravan. These are like the families and the warriors and, you know, the unnamed people that help support the caravan. And so for each chapter, you kind of have a start point and a destination. And the movement happens on this like map overlay that kind of side scrolls along. And as you do that, random events will pop up. These will be, you know, just mostly non-combat events, these random events. It'll be you encounter a stranger on the side of the road and they look like they need help. What do? You help them, you ignore them, right? And the options are a little more complicated than that, but that's the gist of it. And then what you pick will have a result. They may join your party. They may give you food. They may attack you and kill somebody. Yes, you can have your heroes die based on these random selections in these random encounters. And in the first game, that was like wild. Like they did it fast and furious. You would never see it coming. You wouldn't know which option. It wasn't like there was a warning like, oh, do something really crazy and dumb, and then your guy dies. And you're like, oh, of course he did. No. It's like, do something that seems completely reasonable. Surprise, that means that this rock falls from a ledge and lands on their head and they're dead, right? I mean, wild stuff. That's much more toned down in the Banner Saga 2. It is kind of more nuanced. It's, do you get some extra supplies? Does your morale drop? Things like that. So then, along the way, you also have these battles that will pop up. Some from the choices that you make in these random encounters, but most of them are scripted at certain places, at certain times. When you get to a certain spot on that side-scrolling map, you are going to have a battle, and it's going to be the same battle. It is predictable. The enemies will be the same. They'll kind of have the same arrangement and turn order and all that. And so you'll know what's coming if you've done a previous playthrough. And I do recommend that. Play through the game on normal first, get a feel for it, and then once you kind of know what to expect, go in and do your hard playthrough, because it is unforgiving. The combat is challenging, and certainly if you're going for these achievements that I'm going for in this playthrough, you need to be intimately familiar with the mechanics of the game, because you need to do some crazy farming and exploiting and really using some character abilities to their absolute best in order to accomplish this. It is no just kind of sit back and take it easy and plan. It's like next level stuff for these achievements. So what are those achievements that we're talking about? Well, the first one, the most difficult one, the crazy one, is called Master Tactician. And I think it was the exact same achievement in the first game. And it was hard in that one, next level hard here. What you need to do is have 6 rank 10 units. And then you need to take those 6 rank 10 units into a training battle and win the training battle. And the training battle itself is the easy part. The hard part is getting your full team of 6 people up to rank 10. So again, this game continues from the previous, the Banner Saga 1. And your characters and the levels that you had them at there carry over. Your renown, which is like your XP, your upgrade currency, carries over from the Banner Saga 1. So what you probably need to do is play through the Banner Saga 1 when you're familiar with it, play it on like normal difficulty maybe, and crush it. Win every encounter, milk every single piece of renown out of it, upgrade the team that you know you're going to use in this battle up to level 5 or rank 5 in that game, so that you're completely ready to go and you've got a big store of renown ready to carry with you into this game. And then you select that save file as the basis for your start of the game in the Banner Saga 2. You need to do all that, and you still need to farm and cheese a little bit to get this done. I did that, and then did a full hard playthrough, won every combat, killed every enemy, did every single thing I could to get the most XP, the most renown out of the game, and I was way short, like 60 renown, 80 renown short. I mean, it wasn't even close. And there's a time limit on this. So, you know, you need to pick the right characters, because some of them will leave at certain points in the story. There's nothing you can do. And you need to do it before you get to the end location at the end of the game, because then the training tent disappears and you can't do the battle anymore. So you have to accomplish it before you get to that last location, because there's a training tent that you can go into and say, I want to do a spar battle, and then you do that battle. If you get the 6 rank 10 units and you do the spar battle, it's easy, you'll crush it. But getting them to that point is really tough. And so how we do that? Well, the first thing you need to do is win every battle, as I said, make every right decision, like get every little last piece of renown that you can. But then on top of that, we need to take one specific battle. There's one battle in a later chapter where there's an infinitely spawning amount of enemies. So there's a boss character in the battle, and as soon as you defeat the boss character, you win the scenario. But if you leave that boss character alive, he'll every 2 or 3 kills of his minions, 2 or 3 more minions will come into the battle. And so every time you kill a minion, you get a renown. So you need to farm at least 100 renown from these infinitely spawning characters in order to have enough total renown to upgrade all of your characters to rank 10. It is difficult. I will have a complete video just dedicated to that battle, because it takes a long time. There's a lot of moving parts to set up and go with it. So that will be its own dedicated video that covers that specific battle when we get there. So there also is the challenge achievement, and that one's very, again, that sounded easy. You can lose a battle and not lose the game. You don't get much renown and your characters are all injured. So it's not a game over state. You just lose and continue the story. But if you do that, you'll miss this achievement. And on top of that, the game remembers. If you are playing a battle and you lose, and then you load your previous save, which will go back to before that battle, the game knows and remembers that you lost. So even if you replay the battle and you win, you will not get the achievement, because you had a loss and the game saw it, and then you reloaded and did it again. That will not get you the achievement. So if a battle's going poorly, reload early. As soon as you see that you lost the battle screen, you've avoided this achievement and you're not going to get it. And there is one particular fight that is more dangerous, I think, than all the rest in terms of potentially losing a battle. End of the playthrough. So we'll talk about that as well. So then the bonus achievement that we're going for here, this can be done on any difficulty. So doing it on hard isn't necessary, but I did find maybe it was a little easier. Doing it on easy would probably be tough. Doing it on normal is probably your best bet. It's called Intense Repossession, and there's a boss in the game named Eyeless. You need to witness Eyeless possess 10 fallen enemies. So Eyeless is this huge, powerful, hulking enemy, and when she walks up to one of your characters, she can like one-shot them. I mean, super strong. But the other thing that she does is every couple of turns, she'll jump into a fallen character on the field. It could be one of the enemy minions that you've taken out. It can be one of your own characters that gets taken out in the battle. She'll possess them, resurrect them, and then when you defeat that character, she'll pop out of the body again in her big, massive form and attack you again before jumping into another fallen body. So you need to have that happen 10 times where she jumps into somebody and takes over possession of them. The good news is you get 2 battles to do this. You see Eyeless twice in the game, and they're separated, I think, like 2 or 3 chapters apart. So you can do 5 and 5 or 7 and 3 or whatever, as long as you get 10 total possessions. Now, again, that is difficult to do. There are some tricks to how that works. And man, again, it's really, really like nitty gritty nut and bolt kind of stuff. It's not even just like, oh, set things up. You have to let her rest to recover energy, or otherwise she'll burn herself out and she won't jump. I mean, the level of detail in these achievements, the level of knowledge of the mechanics and the depth of the understanding you have to have of these mechanics is crazy in this game. So much so that I started this playthrough over a year ago and got to a point where I was just like, I can't do it anymore. I got to stop. And I thought I was going to be done with the game. But after a while, I came back and I got the itch. And I was like, I have to finish it. And I did that. I got through it. I got all the achievements. And so now I am putting the video series together. So that is the big picture lay of the land. You'll see in this first chapter, what are we trying to do? Well, we're kind of introduced to the caravan, to some new characters, and we're making our way down a river we're trying to get to the capital city. The thing that you want to do in this, there's some tutorial at the beginning. There's nothing too difficult in the first couple early battles and minutes of the game. But you will have some choices to make on the river, and you kind of have to be a jerk. If you're too nice, if you're like accepting people and helping everyone, you're going to get punished for it. There's a big event that happens at the end of the chapter, and if you've helped people and brought more people onto your boats, you will be punished. So you kind of have to ignore the people that need your help as you're going through the side scrolling and making the random decisions. The other thing is the combat. I think it's tougher at the beginning of the game than the end because your characters are so weak. You get these like extra abilities and their stats go up, and then you get extra options and strategy, and you can kind of like make things work to your advantage later in the game. And early on, you don't have the options available to do so. But there are 2 things that you can do to make it much easier. One thing is upgrade Alette. So there is an option for who your primary character is in this game. And I don't want to say too much more because saying too much more will spoil the end of the Banner Saga 1, and you might be interested in that, so I don't want to do it. But you can choose who your primary hero is. Choose Alette for this playthrough. It's vital. You need to do it. You can't choose the other character. So choose Alette, have her upgraded, and all that renown that you saved from your Banner Saga 1 playthrough, pour into her. Get her up to level 10 as soon as possible. She gets an ability called Overwatch, and it is like in XCOM and other games where she'll like post up and watch, and anytime the enemy moves into her range, she'll shoot at them. And if you have her damage high enough, and you give her a knockback item, each character can have one item, and some of the items cause knockback. If you have her damage maxed out and you have knockback on her, you can set her up in Overwatch. The enemy will move on their turn. They'll move into her range. She'll shoot at them, damage them, and knock them back, and the knockback will end their turn. So they won't get to attack. They'll approach you, you'll attack them, they'll get knocked back, and that'll be the end of your turn, their turn, and then you get to go. So she can kind of create this wall around your tanks to prevent the enemy from getting in. The problem is, some enemies have really high armor, and her arrows won't hit. They'll be deflected by the armor, and then they'll march right in. So that's kind of where the challenge comes in. The second thing you need to do is upgrade, I think it's Egil. They call him Gil. He's the character that has this big shield, and he's a character in the Banner Saga 1 that can die on like the second day to one of those random dialogue choices that I mentioned. It's like the most brutal one. It just, pick option 2, looks innocent enough. Egil's gone, forget it, you never see him again, he's dead. So make sure you don't do that. You have to have him alive in the Banner Saga 2. And then he's awesome because his armor can get up so high that most enemies won't be able to damage him. He'll just take the hits on his armor, and you can repair armor. You can't repair health. So get Alette upgraded for damage, get her Overwatch going, and then have her sit right behind Egil. And if something does get through, he'll take the hit, he'll tank it with his shield, he'll tank it with his armor, and the armor can be repaired. And you kind of have this nice, sturdy, defensive wall with somebody behind who prevents most of the damage coming in, and then your other characters just kind of support that. Gunnulf is a great damage dealer, but he's kind of slow and his armor's low, so if he takes one big hit, he's going to be useless. I should give a quick intro onto how combat works. You have armor and you have health, and your health is also the amount of damage you deal. It's also your strength. So when somebody does an attack, you're comparing their health or strength to the attacking, to the person who's being attacked, to their armor. So Alette attacks an enemy. Alette has 11 health. The enemy has 10 armor. That will pass through and will do 1 damage because 11 health minus 10 armor equals 1. If Alette had 20 attack and the enemy has 10 armor, she'll do 10 damage to that enemy's health. The thing you can do, if their armor is too high, you can, instead of attacking their health, you can attack their armor. You can break their armor. And that is a separate check. Each character kind of has their own armor break stat, and it's kind of a static, separate thing. It's not tied to their health at all. So Alette has an armor break of, I think it's 2 in the game, but she has an armor break of 3. The enemy has 10 armor. You can attack them with an armor break 3 of their armor, and now their armor is at 7 for the rest of the battle. And now the next time, Alette's attack is high enough now to go through it. She won't do 1 damage, she'll do 4, right? Because now it's 11 minus 7. So all that said, armor is important. Keep it up, keep it repaired. When you take health damage, it's permanent. And so if Alette takes 1 hit, her health drops to 8 or 7. She's never getting through anybody's armor, and your whole plan can fall apart. So early turns and protecting your health are super important. So I think that's going to be where we call it here for the first video. That kind of lays the land, gives you some strategy. You'll see the rest of the video play through this journey along the river, and it'll culminate in some pretty big battles and a pretty crazy finale for how the chapter ends. And then I'll come back and we'll pick up with the next chapter when we actually have a separate party. So we have kind of 2 branching stories, 2 branching groups that are independent of each other after this first chapter, and you need to work both of them through their own respective stories. They alternate each chapter, and both of them have goals that we need to accomplish in this hard difficulty playthrough. So hopefully you will enjoy the video series. If you liked the Banner Saga 1, you'll probably enjoy the Banner Saga 2. If you like the videos for the Banner Saga 1, hopefully you'll like these as well. Feel free to let me know what you think of these videos. If there's anything you're having trouble with in the Banner Saga 2, again, we'll get more specific into the details, into what you need to do for those achievements in dedicated videos, but everything we're doing along the way is with that goal in mind. So thank you for joining me. Enjoy the video, and I'll see you next time.
carved rock on a vacant island. Azalai's godstone almost looks lonely.